Hey, so today we're talking about our positioning for receiving serve in doubles. So a few things that we want to keep in mind is that we need to be able to cover sort of all the most common serves. So the most common serve is always the short serve. So we want to be as aggressive as possible on that. So depending on how fast you are, you will position yourself slightly differently. But for example, I know that I can jump back and catch the flick. So I'm going to stand non-racket foot close to the service line, leg bent. I'm quite close to the center when I'm on the right because I don't want to be caught reaching too far across my body to cover the T serve. So on the right side, I'm standing quite close to the line, non-racket foot in front. Both legs are loaded. I have a very neutral grip. So I'm not fully committed forehand, and I'm not fully committed to the backhand. I'm sort of have my forehand grip with my thumb up a little bit, so I'm a little bit more neutral because I want to be able to catch both. And I'm not going to have my racket dominating one side or the other too much. So I'm going to be loaded here, and I'm going to have my racket out in front. So the goal of the receive is that I want to stay in offense or in neutral at the very least. I don't want to be forced to lift right away. So I'm going to be standing quite close, loaded, back straight, racket up, nice and ready and loaded. I have basically two options here if they short serve. So if they short serve, I can push off my right foot and lunge with my left, catching the shuttle as early as I can, or I can push off my right and pivot over. Part of that will depend a little bit on the positioning of the serve. If they serve a little wider, I'm going to cross over with my right. If they serve more T, crossing over will be too slow, so I'll step directly with the non-racket foot. So it depends a little bit on the position of the serve, but this back leg has to be loaded so that I can really jump forward as aggressively as possible. If I'm on the right side, on the left side of the court, I'm going to shift slightly closer to the outside line because, again, if I stand too close to the line here, I'm going to have to cross over my body too much to catch the wider serve. So same sort of position. On the left, because I'm right-handed, chances are I can probably play a little bit more forehand receive, whereas when I'm on the right side, I'll probably play a bit more backhand receive. The other thing to keep in mind is the flick serve. So I need to be able to reach the flick serve. So if I'm not quite as quick, maybe I'm not hugging the front line quite as much, maybe I'll back up a step or two so I can still be aggressive in here, but now I'm not as worried about the flick serve. One of the questions I get asked quite a lot though is why I don't stand with my racket foot in front. And this is because of the flick. So if I'm positioned here with my non-racket foot in front, if I get flicked, I can just shuffle and jump back, and I'm right in position to attack. And that flick can be quite dangerous. If I'm positioned with my racket foot in front and I get flicked, I have to turn. I have to turn and try to pivot, and that's too slow, so I'll inevitably get caught. So I need to be in this position so I can cover the flick serve, but also push off and be aggressive on the short serve. Hopefully that kind of clears up any questions about serve receive in doubles. If you have more questions, let me know and I'll make another video. Cheers.